Yeah, John, air raid sirens just sounded across Tel Aviv, Israel's second largest city. The Iranians have started...
We can confirm that there were sirens not only in Bahrain, but also Qatar.
March 10th, 2026, 3:12 in the morning. Before a single news network goes live with the story, the American military response will already be complete. Iran fires a ballistic missile at a United States carrier strike group. The weapon connects. 7 Americans die. And before sunrise, burns off the morning haze. Every facility that built, aimed, and launched that weapon is a ruin. This is what a preloaded American response looks like, and why. Iran's commanders never saw the counterstrike until it was already detonating. The Strait of Hormuz, 21 nautical miles at its narrowest, a geographic bottleneck controlling roughly a fifth of the planet's daily petroleum flow. Tonight, the surface is black and motionless, quiet in that way that precedes something violent. Holding position inside those waters, USS Abraham Lincoln, Nimitz-class nuclear carrier, flagship of carrier, Strike Group 9, 97,000 tons, 1,100 feet of flight deck, 85 aircraft, a crew of 5,000, enough offensive capacity to eliminate the conventional warfighting ability of a mid-sized nation. If you want the unfiltered account of what happens when a nation targets an American carrier, stay through this. Hit like now so the platform pushes this where it needs to go. The Lincoln knows these waters. Her crew has cataloged Iranian coastal radar positions, shipping corridors, threat vectors. The AN/SPY-6 radar, the most sophisticated air and missile defense sensor ever fielded at sea, maintains continuous coverage across a sphere approaching 1,000 kilometers. Nothing rises from the Iranian coastline without the Lincoln seeing it. She doesn't sail alone. 2 Arleigh guided missile destroyers flank her. A Ticonderoga cruiser holds position ahead. 2 fast-attack submarines run dark beneath. The strike group collectively holds over 400 ready interceptor rounds. But the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Aerospace Division has not spent 3 years mapping this formation out of academic interest. They've been hunting coverage gaps, moments when Aegis radar arcs narrow just enough for a fast inbound to exploit reduced intercept probability. They identified a 47-second gap. They engineered a launch plan around it. You need to understand what's inbound before I tell you what fires back, because the American reply time is going to seem physically impossible. Stay with me. And here's what makes this story different from every other military confrontation. You've seen covered America didn't react to this attack. America had already answered it. Keep watching, because that distinction changes everything. 11 minutes from now, an Iranian warhead will breach the Lincoln's forward flight deck. 9 minutes after impact, not after a congressional authorization vote, not after emergency phone calls between capitals after 9 minutes. Every Iranian launch facility, every command node, every radar installation that enabled this attack will be on fire. This is not a story about being caught unprepared. It's the story of what happens when an adversary attacks something already covered by a retaliation. Architecture that was switched. Months ago, let's examine the weapon. The Al-Qadr ballistic missile descends from Iran's Shahab series. Developed through years of technical exchange with North Korean engineers and expanded by domestic aerospace programs. Standard payload, 800 kilograms conventional. Range approximately 2,000 kilometers. Accuracy, a circular error probable near 150 meters, sufficient to threaten a carrier flight deck. Tonight's variant carries a maneuvering re-entry vehicle. At terminal descent, the warhead executes lateral course corrections autonomously, designed specifically to defeat interceptors that commit to a solution during the approach phase. Not unprecedented globally, but operationally new in Iranian hands. Intelligence analysts tracked the program over 14 months without concluding Iran would deploy it this quickly. Drop Hormuz. In the comments, if you believe, this launch permanently restructures Middle Eastern deterrence. The launch originates 60 kilometers inland. A transporter Rector launcher departed its garrison 3 hours before ignition, moving through highway traffic indistinguishable from cargo transport until the platform goes vertical and the exhaust plume lights the sky. Lincoln's radar detects the exhaust signature 4 seconds after ignition. 4 seconds, the Combat Direction Center responds. Aegis computes intercept geometry. An SM-3 interceptor clears the launcher within 11 seconds. The SM-3 ascends at 3 kilometers per second. Intercept calculus looks workable. Then the maneuvering vehicle activates a 6G lateral correction, abrupt, precisely timed to shatter the SM-3's intercept geometry. The interceptor partially connects, fracturing the warhead casing. The close-in weapon system catches most of the debris, but the energetic core, roughly 400 kilograms of explosive, continues downward. At 3 hours, 13 minutes and 14 seconds, it impacts the Lincoln's forward flight deck. The detonation opens a 40-foot breach through the deck plating. Hangar bay fires ignite below. 3 FA-18E Super Hornets, staged for morning patrol, are destroyed before pilots reach them. 7 sailors in the forward division die in the first 10 seconds. 23 more are wounded. Damage control parties are moving before the vibration fully subsides. Not improvised courage. Drilled reflex built across years of battle training. Picture yourself on that deck, 22 years old. You grew up in Georgia. 18 months ago, you were rotating tires and unsure what direction your life was heading. You enlisted because it felt like a genuine path forward. This morning you had coffee, pre-flighted your aircraft, thought about unremarkable things. Then the deck moves beneath your feet without warning. The sound has no civilian equivalent. Your nervous system, something below conscious decision, locates the nearest suppression equipment. You move toward it, not a choice. Already happening, Lincoln's commanding officer reports at 3 hours, 13 minutes, and 21 seconds. Ballistic impact confirmed. Flight deck breach. Hangar fires active. Casualties confirmed. Weapon identified as maneuvering variant ballistic missile. Ship navigable. Strike group elevated to wartime posture. Immediate effect, the transmission reaches 5th Fleet. CENTCOM, National Military Command Center. Logged 3 hours, 13 minutes, and 24 seconds. What executes? Next was not decided at 3 hours, 13 minutes, and 24 seconds. It was decided 16 months ago. The pre-delegated strike authorization, signed by the President, embedded in standing orders, activates automatically. On confirmed hostile ballistic impact against a carrier group asset, share this right. Now, because the next 9 minutes constitute the most operationally compressed American military response since the Second World War, and almost no one understands that this architecture exists. 9 minutes, not 9 minutes of deliberation. 9 minutes of loaded, pre-aimed execution. Authorization signed 16 months prior. Target packages validated 11 months prior. Strike platforms repositioned 3 weeks prior, when satellite tracking flagged elevated Iranian tel activity. Fire control solutions refreshed 12 hours prior, when imagery confirmed tel movement. The United States was not scrambling. They were waiting for one variable Iran supplied. Pre-positioned platforms receive a strike signal at 3 hours, 13 minutes, and 31 seconds. 7 seconds after Lincoln's report, reached the National Military Command Center, USS Georgia, Ohio-class guided missile submarine submerged in the Gulf of Oman. 154 Tomahawk cruise missiles aboard. Target data already loaded. USS Ohio, sister vessel, parallel track, 40 nautical miles north. Identical magazine. Identical readiness. 2 Arleigh Burke destroyers in the outer defensive ring. Vertical launch cells configured for strike tasking. AB-2 Spirit stealth bomber on station over the northern Arabian Sea, 6 hours airborne. Ordnance, 16 GBU, 5-7 massive ordnance penetrators, each capable of penetrating underground facilities. No conventional munition reaches. 4 F-15E. Strike Eagles airborne on what had appeared to be a routine combat air patrol, now receiving updated targeting data on encrypted data link. Georgia fires first, 13 seconds after authorization transmits. 40 Tomahawks across 2 minutes, 9 seconds. The Gulf of Oman erupts in exhaust columns as cruise missiles orient and accelerate toward Iran. Ohio adds 40 more. Same interval. The destroyers contribute 16. The B-2 releases its penetrators from altitude toward underground hardened facilities. The F-15Es deploy precision glide munitions against the dispersed radar network. Final tally, 96 Tomahawks, 8 bunker-penetrating weapons, 24 precision glide bombs, 128 munitions navigating simultaneously toward separate coordinates. Comment architecture. If you now understand how a 9-8 response is really a year-long plan. Weapon carries a specific address. This isn't demonstration retaliation. Al-Qadr production complex. Northwestern Iran, 16 Tomahawks across 40 seconds. Guidance package assembly. Solid fuel processing. Warhead integration. A manufacturing chain requiring 9 years of investment receives 16 cruise missiles in under a minute. Shaheed Hemet, industrial group outside Tehran, 8 Tomahawks. The engineering institution behind the maneuvering re-entry vehicle. Design facilities, materials labs, composite fabrication. The accumulated knowledge that made tonight's weapon dangerous is concentrated here. Kermanshah Missile Garrison, 12 Tomahawks, strike-hardened shelters, propellant storage, and the Command Coordination Center. Imam Ali Missile Garrison, 8 bunker-penetrating underground tunnels 40 meters deep are structurally compromised from inside. Distributed radar network, 14 installations. The Strike Eagles work through the list. The transporter erector launcher crew begins relocating immediately after firing, standard post-launch doctrine. A Predator drone already overhead fires a precision strike at 3 hours, 15 minutes, and 11 seconds. Both stop moving from Iran's perspective at 3:13. The Revolutionary Guard Aerospace achieves something no Iranian military unit has ever confirmed: a verified impact on an American carrier. Command receives the news. Then explosions begin registering at Iranian facilities, production sites, garrisons, radar installations. Before Iranian command structures can route coherent damage assessments upward, 80% of the inbound strike package has already executed by morning. USS Abraham Lincoln, damaged, fires out. Aircraft resuming launch operations from functional deck sections by 5 o'clock. Combat effective, present, absent. Iran's Al-Qadr production infrastructure. Primary missile garrisons. National radar network. The engineering team behind the maneuvering vehicle, the launch crew, not weakened. Absent restraint without a pre-built response isn't deterrence. It's an open invitation. Exchange arithmetic. Iran invested approximately $2 billion across 9 years to develop the Al-Qadr program. 1 missile fired, 1 hit, 7 Americans killed, 23 wounded. Carrier operational. American response cost approximately $300 million. What that removed? Production base. Operational inventory, development team, launch infrastructure, radar architecture. The math was designed to be brutal. Iranian government statements claim the Lincoln violated territorial waters. Satellite tracking data refutes this. Full evidence packages reached the UN Security Council before noon. 14 nations express quiet support for Washington within 24 hours. 9 minutes isn't a reaction speed, it's a sentence written before the crime. The permanent strategic consequence. Every Iranian commander planning any future operation must now factor in one immovable variable. Striking an American carrier does not generate a window of opportunity. It executes a pre-authorized, pre-targeted, pre-positioned response that requires no additional political decisions to fire. The deterrent architecture was never the weapons alone. It was the decision recorded in advance. Iran expected Washington to debate. They received 9 minutes. Not because the Americans were fast, because the Americans had already gone. The Lincoln undergoes emergency repair. 7 sailors receive full military honors. The wounded recover. Iran rebuilds over 22 months. But one operational constant shifts permanently, no further. Al-Qadr launches target American carrier groups, not because capability never returns, but because every commander, considering the option, must sit with a question that has no comfortable resolution. How many minutes between our launch and ordnance hitting our facilities? The answer remains 9. 9 minutes is not a response interval. 9 minutes is the gap between a decision Iran made on March 10th and a consequence. The United States had already filed, loaded, and positioned. It communicates 3 things to every adversary watching. Restraint is not hesitation. Prepositioned is not preemptive. And the side that plans years in advance does not need to react in real time. If you were the Iranian commander holding the launch, Authorization, knowing what you've just walked through. Would you still have given the order? Leave that below. Was the American 9-minute response proportionate military doctrine? Or did it establish something that permanently changes how wars are started? This is what Winds of Thought exists to unpack. If you want the weapons, the decisions, the architecture behind modern conflict that mainstream coverage never maps like this video, and subscribe now. Hit the bell so you don't miss what drops next. Because somewhere right now, the next scenario is already being written.